Hey everyone, this is Marjorie Chapman, and you are at Raw and Real Heart to Heart Conversations. And you may notice, if you've listened to a few others of these, that I'm missing a Dawn. And I decided, well, actually, maybe Sid and I will be having a conversation. I decided just to come on and talk myself and see what comes from me talking to myself. It's a big day today. I have a lot of emotion and I'm not sure why. So the oldest kid that I birthed graduated today. A week ago, we weren't sure if he was going to graduate, but he pulled it out, and got to watch him walk across that stage today. And gosh, there are a lot of feels. I'm really proud of him. I'm also really scared for him. Life is not as understanding and helpful and supportive as his teachers in his school were in the past couple of weeks, and his parents, for that matter. I described it like, somebody has a choice of three paths. There's the paved path, there's the slightly overgrown path, and then there's the path you can't even see because it's so thick with brambles and whatever. And that's the path he picks. And there's a lot about them that I really admire. I've always been the do it the right way, be a good girl. So I really admire his fuck it attitude about a lot of things. And as a mother, as someone who's lived a few more years than he has, it also scares me for him. So a fine line, I think, between that leading to a life of your dreams and not, and either a life of regrets or a life of resignation. And in situations like this where, damn it, I wish I had a crystal ball. And I'm sure that's normal. I'm sitting at Dave's desk. Here's a magic 8-ball. What do you think? Should I ask it? Is he going to be okay in life? Can't even see it. As I see it, yes. Well, the magic 8-ball says he'll be okay, then I'll stop worrying. And I was looking forward to talking to Dawn, and I'm really glad that she is giving herself the day that she's giving herself. She is self-caring in a way that few get to do. And I think many might want to look into. I'm not entirely sure if she's just helping repair and fix up, or if she also had some demo in her, but she's working on a house with her ex-boyfriend, who does remodels and things like that. So yeah, I got a text from her. We were playing it by ear anyway with graduation. Our normally scheduled time was not going to work for either of us. And so we played it by ear, and time worked for me, and she's still busy, and I miss her, and I'm really glad that she's getting to do this. I think there's a little of me that may even be jealous, right? I think right now I could smash the hell out of something and it might feel better. But instead I took a nap on the couch, and just letting myself feel, and letting myself be okay with not knowing what the feelings mean, where they're coming from, why they're coming. There's a lot going on in my life, and and it's okay, right? Like, this is what life looks like, especially when you're living a big life. Part of us living a big life is this move to a whole different state. And the part that's hard for me is that I'll be leaving my newly minted adult. I'll be leaving him. Shoes are too far away. And I think I have a fear that if I'm not here, like, able to go over to where he's living and able to, knock on his door or show up where he can see me. And I'm afraid he won't be in contact. And I guess that's okay, right? It's what I'm making it mean that's causing the worry. I've heard a couple of really great definitions of worry in the past year. The one that sticks in my mind is that it is a physical, emotional, and mental response to what is not happening right now. I have that one written on a dry erase board in my bedroom. And then the other one that I heard more recently that I also really like is that worry is creating the future you don't want. So in the world of your thoughts become your reality, right? That we think things into existence, that we manifest. Yeah, worry is creating that thing that you don't want to create. People who experience anxiety, I think definitely can relate to that. You spend time in that cycle, and we all do it to whatever extent we do it. My intuitive healer described me this week as having a pretty deep groove to, worrying about chaos. And that in the past couple of weeks, I've been attracting the chaos, because that's what I've been focusing on, is the chaos. And thankfully, there are other people, including myself. It's not like I've lived there. I've just visited a lot in the past couple of weeks, but luckily there are people like Dave and other people who are focusing on some other things to counteract my chaos focus. And in the world of that, Dave has a new contract starting. So that's a reassurance for us as a family that the major funding is secured. We do have a couple lean weeks as we wait for him to start that job, and but it's not as critical now as it would have been even a year ago, which is nice. I know Dave's going to comment on how many times I said So Dave's job is secure. Connor has graduated. And the house that we thought was our house is going to somebody else. So we are open and waiting for the next one that feels like the right one. When I was dating, when I was manifesting Dave, because I really pretty clear I did. One of the things I did, and we did it for this house too, is I made a list and I wrote down everything I wanted. And I viewed my dating journey as a journey. It wasn't, are you the one? Is this the one each time? It was more, like taking a cross-country trip, maybe on a train, right? Like stopping at the station, deciding if you want to get off the train and explore for a while, or do you just want to get out, stretch your legs, and get right back on, right? Some guys were very short visits. It was pretty clear, pretty obvious right from the start that it didn't work. And some, stayed a little while. There were things that I really liked. There were things about me that I really liked when I was with them. There were things about them that I really liked when I was with them. And I started viewing my journey as like a collection of, like a collecting of who my person was. Being able to feel it in my body instead of just seeing it on a list and hoping, right? It was more of a, oh yeah, I really love when a guy does that. Whether it's a look or a touch or an action, opening a door or whatever it might be. That journey was really powerful for that. And I see this house hunting journey similarly. This house, the newest house that we're looking at has a feature which is radiant heat. I If you don't know what that is, it's they put the hot water pipes, or they put pipes under the floor, and you can turn on the floor basically, and it heats very consistently that part of the floor. Great for bathrooms, great for, near Buffalo. And this is the first house that's had it, and it was on my list as a desired feature, not as a mandatory feature. So, we haven't liked a house that had that yet. And, the last house that we really liked, that we were hoping we would get this week, one of the things I really liked about it is there was a space where I could have created a workshop space, and could have had my office and my workshop space contained right there within the front door, without detracting from living space for the family. Kitchen was nice and big. Yard was beautiful. There was a bar downstairs. There was a outdoor kitchen on the patio. None of it finished, but lots and lots of potential. And I got attached to the idea of having my office and a workshop space in my house. And what I noticed about this house is a tendency that I have about a lot of things, which is to, if I attract something once, to see it as a fluke, right? Like with this house. Well, the only reason we could have afforded it was because they had started all these projects and they didn't finish it. And that's why the house was on the market for 2 months. And that's why we almost got it, because it was well out of our price range. I do this a lot, and you might be able to hear yourself in it too, that you talk yourself out of as my friend Laura says, the magic, right? There's a magic and a wonder, that those graduates today hopefully all still possess, right? Like they've got no idea what's coming, and they're ready, like, bring it, adulthood, here I am. And it's a beautiful thing to dream, to believe in the magic, to believe, to be fearless or brave, whatever you want to call it. I was listening to Untamed by Glennon Doyle, I think is her last name. She talked about how we teach our kids that courage is having fear and doing it anyway. And that maybe that's not exactly what we want to be teaching our kids. Everybody's going to this kegger and they're going to get really drunk, and I have fear, so I should push through it and do it anyway. Well, no, maybe not. Maybe that inner voice is actually saying something else. And she was talking about how her daughters went to get their ears pierced and the one chose not to. And that's bravery too. That's courage. It takes courage to listen to yourself and do what's right for you, regardless of anybody else. And sometimes I feel like I'm much better at doing that for others, supporting my clients in doing that. I think that's really what I do as a coach. I think that's my niche, is supporting women in tuning in and connecting to what's important for them. Because I think most of us women are wired, and I dabble in neuroscience. I don't know if this is accurate, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is, that we are more influenced by community because we're wired to be in community. And so for us to step out and do the thing that's right for us, especially if it's against the grain or not exactly socially acceptable or, whatever. That's where aliveness lives, out on the skinny branches. I mentioned that Connor's girlfriend broke up with him. And it's been really fascinating for me to text back and forth with her. First of all, not me breaking the social norms, right? The if you get broken up with, or if somebody breaks up with somebody, then, they're bad and wrong. I've never subscribed to that. I mean, one of my good friends now is my very first boyfriend from when I was 15. And, there's a reason you fell in love with them. And yes, it's way easier. I imagine, I've never done it, but I imagine it's way easier to say, fuck you, and cut them out of your life. And that's what I've been watching her grapple with, is honoring her desire to explore what it means to be a single woman at 18. Having been in a relationship since she was in middle school. And there's a fierceness in her that I so admire. She is so confident and so sure of herself, and so sure of not necessarily the path she wants to take, but what the lessons are that she wants to learn. And to me, she really is courageous. Breaking up with someone that you still love, it's a tough thing to do. The guy I dated before Dave, I was with him for 15 months, and it's not easy, but I knew it was right. And whether or not these two get back together, remains to be seen. Who knows where her journey's going to take her? And especially since she's raring to go and he's not, it may be a blessing to end it when love is present, before the resignation kicks in. And I trust that, if they're meant to be together, they'll get back together. But that's not really my point, right? My point is her courage and her grappling with all that there is to grapple with, including, did I just make the biggest mistake of my life? And I know that, especially from when I left my first marriage. But every time I got quiet, every time I got out of my head and into my heart, the answer was always the same. So that's all there is to do. Check in. Take a deep breath and check in and see what your heart's desire is. Then lean in. See where it takes you. I'm going to take my feels back to the couch. And I hope you have a fantastic week. And let me know. Let me know what it's like taking the courageous step for you. You know, sometimes not doing it the way everybody wants you to is the courageous step. Sometimes doing it the way everybody wants you to is the courageous step, right? It's individual. And only you have to know. But when you take it, celebrate it. Because that's where life is. Especially after this past year, you know? Like the living is in the being out there and living. And I think many of us have forgotten exactly what that might feel like. And if you can hear that sound, that's the sound of a cat coughing up a hairpill. And somehow, I'm not sure how, that's just a perfect ending. If for no other reason than to make me laugh. So thank you, my friends, for being with me on this rambling, nasty journey. And let me know. Let me know what action you took. Let me know how it had you feel. What was your experience of you after you took that step? And maybe it's something you've been wanting to, and maybe it's something that just came to you from listening to me babble. But to me, this is what life is. Finding your way to your truest expression of you and getting past all the noise that there may be in your head and from your friends and family. And it's about being alive, feeling alive, discovering life, being in the wonder of it all. So go take a bold action for you. Bold for you. And I love you. Even if I don't know you, I do know you. Have a fantastic week. And Dawn and I will be back next week.